So today we're going to be building up the best fragrance collection with only 10 scents. Now, best is subjective, and it's pretty hard to choose only 10. So I did the best I could here, and this is the type of topic where as my taste changes, as my collection continues to grow and change, this list would probably be different if I were to make it again in a few months from now, or if I were to have made it months ago and did it now, it would be different each time pretty much. So something to keep in mind. This to me is a really good starting point. It's a way to kind of get you thinking, it's maybe something that you can tweak and add in some things as well, just depending on your taste, but it's a really good place to get started. And part of the reason why that is, at least in my opinion, is because there is a lot of overlap. So essentially, instead of narrowing it down to where there are certain scents that are just good for summer, certain ones that are just good for fall or just for winter or whatever, you have a good variety of things here that some will work great in spring and summer, some will work really good in fall and winter, some will work good year round. There's just a lot of variety, a lot of versatility, and again, a lot of overlap with these selections. So you're going to have some scents that you can wear for the most part kind of whenever you want, but there are going to be some that are going to be suited for certain kind of temperature ranges throughout the year. Just kind of how I look at it. Really, the idea behind this is to help take some of the guesswork out of it, but also to take some of the stress out of it. You don't need to be super caught up in, I can only wear this for this certain month or something like that. Because once you start accumulating a lot of different fragrances, you will start to kind of be a little bit more selective with when you want to wear certain things. That's just something that comes with time. When you're starting out though, that can be overwhelming, and so I'm trying to eliminate that here with this video. And so if you want to do some shopping to pick some of these up, I'll drop links to them down below. That way you can get these at prices below retail, which is always the way to go. That's how I do all of my fragrance shopping, through discounters. And I also want to point out that I have a mailing list and texting list you can sign up to. I'm always on the hunt for rare, discontinued, and hard to find fragrances for myself. I love to collect discontinued, hard to find things, and I figured why not extend that service to you guys so that way you can benefit from that as well. I'm searching the discounters every day front to back looking for the best deals and the best finds, and every time I come across something I send out a notification to my mailing list and texting list. Jump on if you want. First up, Dior Homme Intense. I always throw this one up front and center because it's an obvious pick for me, and if you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you would know that it's an obvious pick as well because, I always feature it. We're having some issues here. There it is, Dior Homme Intense. Not like you haven't seen the bottle before, but you got to admit, it does look beautiful. This is the type of deal where it's going to be great for fall and winter time. It's one where it works great in both of those seasons. And depending on where you live, it can be a pretty big spread. Around here, I could start wearing this one kind of into starting the middle of October, and I can continue to wear this one pretty consistently until March or April if I really wanted to, maybe even early May if I really wanted to, work it in there and make the most out of it. But that's a good chunk of time to be able to enjoy something like this. And so it's not something where it just has to be for the month of December or just for when it's Arctic cold outside or something like that. It's something where as long as it's a little bit cool in the air, you can pull it off. And it's all about the iris, the lavender, the ambrette, or musk mallow, which kind of gives off a little bit of a chocolatey smell. It's one of my favorite designer fragrances. It's very unique, so it's something where, it's not going to be kind of a yawn scent. It's not going to be boring. It's something where when you smell it, it stands out among the rest in a very positive way. What's not to like about this stuff? Well, there's kind of the fact that it has a little bit of a lipsticky makeup bag type of smell. It's been described. So make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. Sample it first if you can. But for those who like it, end up really loving it. And so it is one worth at least trying. Next up, we have YSL Y Eau de Parfum Intense. So this is one that can be used pretty much in spring and summer. So start off kind of, middle of May, beginning of May. So this is one you could start wearing, you know, whenever, but April, if you wanted to, when you have some warm days in April. Wear this one all the way up until the beginning of October. You know, we had some pretty warm days in the beginning of October here. Have some pretty warm days kind of in the beginning stages of spring as well. But this is also one that can be worn in fall and winter time as well if you wanted to. And so why Eau de Parfum Intense? This one adds a greater level of versatility compared to the Eau de Parfum and Le Parfum because this eliminates the sweetness. So the EDP, the Le Parfum, has a lot of sweet apple off the top, which kind of limits its ability to be worn when it's really hot outside, or maybe not limits its ability because I've done it and do it, but not everybody likes that level of sweetness in a summer scent. A lot of people don't consider it to be a summer scent because of that reason. That is no longer an issue here. I do think that the sweet apple accord used in those others was a big limiting factor, and a lot of the reason why that one does receive a fair amount of pushback or hate. So I find this one to kind of double down on the aromatics because of that, and because of the lack of sweetness. It also seems a bit fresher to me, but it's one that I think was a great move, a great choice. And if you were only wanting to pick up one YSL Y, this would probably be the one to get. And I'm a huge lover of the EDP and the Le Parfum, but especially the EDP. I think it's great, but man, I'll tell you, after spending a lot more time with this new one here, this just might be the way to go for a lot of guys out there if you're only wanting to buy one. So definitely keep this in mind. This next one here is great for spring and summer as well. It is Chanel Allure Homme Edition Blanche. I've always described this one as my go-to summer gourmand. So in wintertime and fall, I really try to make sure I wear all of my gourmands as much as I can. A lot of my Killian's back up over here, boozy, chocolatey, coffee scents, right? They do it really well. A lot of others, just to name a few there, the Killian's and many more that I love to wear in wintertime because they work best when it's cold outside. Fall and winter in general, I should say, when it's cold, okay? Then I kind of start to not necessarily get tired of them, but after several months of that, I'm ready for a change. Springtime comes around, summer comes around, and there are certain days where then I kind of start to miss my sweet gourmands again. This is one of those deals where I can wear this one in the summer and get a gourmand feel, but still have it appropriate for warm weather. It's all about the lemon with some of that tonka bean and the signature Allure Homme DNA, but it kind of smells like lemon meringue pie. Kind of how it's been described, and it's a great way to put it. Fantastic stuff that's unique. It's clean, fresh, bright, uplifting, a little bit sour off the top. Definitely one worth checking out for when it's a bit warm outside and you want something a little bit different. This next one here is kind of interesting because I think you could pretty easily pull this one off fall through spring. So, you know, in fall, winter, spring, summer is the only time where I probably wouldn't be as inclined to wear it. Armani Code Parfum. It's got that code freshness, but then some sweet iris and, of course, some tonka, which, well, the tonka is used in the original code. It has a freshness, but here it's a little bit more of a powdery, sweet tonka. The scent overall is a bit heavier than the original code, but it still has a good amount of a fresh lavender balance, and so it's one where I think you can wear it for a lot of situations, a lot of different times throughout the year and not have an issue. So ultimately, when you think about it that way, that is a lot of time to be able to wear this one. There's only going to be a few really hot summer months out of the year where you probably wouldn't really want to. And so when you're spending money on this, that's definitely a point to consider. You'll be able to get your use out of it. For me, I think this is one of the best flankers in production. Keyword in production, keywords. Code Absolute, Code Profumo are still two of my favorites, but they're discontinued. With what you can buy now, I would say the Parfum is the one to get. You don't need to bother with the EDT anymore. You really don't need to bother with the EDP all that much anymore. Still a great one, but I think if you wanted to buy one, just get the Parfum. And if you can get Absolute, definitely do it. It actually came in stock the other day, 3.7 ounce for a great price. It sold out quick because I sent out a notification, but a lot of you guys were able to get it. So that's why you want to stay tuned. jump on the mailing list and texting list. You won't regret it. You got to have something for date nights. You know, for me, this is an exclusive evening scent. La Nuit de l'Homme, okay? Just the EDT. You got to have it. You could use this for other situations as well, no problem. You could wear it during the day if you wanted to. I think there are better options, but if you like it that much and you want to, then go for it. It's going to work great. But I think just for evenings out, this is the one to have if you're building up a limited collection size. And don't listen to people say, oh, it's overplayed at this point. Too many people wear it. It doesn't work anymore. That's simply not true. Another one where, you know, trying it first is definitely something to consider because you might not be as passionate about this one as I am. Like, I love this stuff. I wear it to bed and just hanging out in the evenings at home all the time. It is a work of art. It's one of those things where I wear it just because I want to smell it. Like, I'll just sit there and wear this one and I'll spray it kind of in the front region of myself so I can smell it. And I just sit there and I enjoy it. That's how much I love this stuff. So definitely worth checking out. If you're wanting an evening out scent, go for this one. And the thing of it is, even in summer, you know, if you're going out to dinner, good chance you're probably going to dinner and sitting inside, you know, what's the temperature going to be inside? 70, 68, you know, 72. That's still perfectly within range to wear this and not have it be cloying like if it was 90 degrees in the middle of a sunny day. So don't worry about that either. Summer date nights, you could do this one no problem. Next up is if you want something unique, great for spring and probably summer as well. It's CH Men. It's got leather, grass, and sugar. Like I said, it's unique. There's something very interesting, but also special about this one that I really like. And you just simply do not hear about CH Men these days anymore. There was a point where this one was getting a ton of hype along with Privé, which Privé's the better of the two, but this one is still really good. But again, anymore, you just don't hear about it. I think it's a shame because it's easily forgotten at this point. You know, it's time kind of passed, but don't forget about it. Pick up a bottle for about 50 bucks on discounters. It's not going to look like this, but they're still very similar, the new and the old, so don't get caught up in that. I think this is best suited for spring. So this is probably one where it's going to be, you know, best suited for spring. That being said, you can wear it into summer as well, especially indoors or maybe a cooler, overcast summer day. I wouldn't get too excited about wearing this in the summer heat, like when the sun is out and shining and it's super humid, but there's no stopping you. So maybe this one's a little bit more specific to when I think it's best suited for, but a lot of other options in here are pretty broad in terms of their spectrum there. So one to consider if you want something a little bit more unique and specific. Next up, we have Terre Eau Givree, another spring and summertime beauty of a scent, and this is a replacement of Eau Fresh, which they discontinued due to IFRA restrictions. Instead of watering it down and reformulating it, they just cut it off and then essentially created something else to take its place that they didn't have to completely change up and still try to pass it as Eau Fresh. So this one's got the citron in here, has some of that signature vetiver, bright, uplifting, summery, tart off the opening. Great stuff. Still very much has that Terre d'Hermès DNA, that classic, classy, gentlemanly, leathery, woodsy, oak mossy smell. It's got that going on. This is definitely something for the guy who doesn't want something sweet and playful and young smelling. So this would be great for business meetings, great for work in a professional environment, all of that stuff. And with that being said, you could wear this in fall and winter as well if you just want to smell clean, fresh, pleasant, and be taken seriously. Another one that is amazing for evenings out, but has a little bit more forgiveness to it in terms of its versatility, in my opinion, the One Eau de Parfum. Another classic example of one that I spray on in the evenings and just sit there and enjoy because I love it. I think with this one compared to La Nuit de l'Homme, more versatility. This is the type of thing that you could make your signature scent and wear every day to work or to school if you wanted to, no problem. Even when it's warmer outside, this one has a little bit of grapefruit off the top. The tobacco is prominent, but it's not to the level of like a Tom Ford, Tobacco Vanille, Spice Bomb Extreme, Xerjoff Naxos, anything like that. It's not that level of a sweet tobacco. It's A little bit more of a fresher aromatic tobacco, a little bit in comparison to those others. Get some amber in here as well. The DNA is great. You probably know it, but it's one that simply works and has served so many people well because it smells great. It's also affordable. You know, $60 on discounters for 100 ml. You just can't go wrong with this. Fall and Winter Beast up next, Pasha di Cartier Parfum. It's got sandalwood, liqueur. You got some other woods going on in here as well, some balsam fir. Very classy. Kind of not similar in terms of smell to Eau Givree, but in terms of its kind of premium, expensive, luxurious smell, it kind of has that similar thing going on. This is going to be for someone who wants to smell classy and refined and sophisticated. So if you're a younger guy, there's a good chance you just might not like this that much, and that's okay. Not a big deal. There's plenty of other options out there, or maybe you would like it. So it's important to maybe try it first if you're on the fence and you're not familiar with things like this, because it is going to be a bit more unique. But if you do want something that fits into that category, it's one to consider. It's about $90, $100 on discounters, maybe a little bit less sometimes if you get a tester. So one that, for the price, actually adds a lot of value. I'll finish things off here with another spring summer scent, and realistically could be an all year rounder as well. Acqua di Gio Parfum, taking replacement of Profumo, which I wear all year round. I prefer it in the summertime, but again, it can be January and I'll spray on Profumo, and I would do the same thing with this because of course they're very similar. So if you're looking for a signature scent or just kind of one where it could be on standby, if you wake up one day and you can't make the decision, you don't know what you want to wear, this can kind of be your default. If you can't decide and you don't have time to sit around and wait all day before you go out the door or thinking, oh, what should I wear? Just default to grabbing this and spraying it on, and then you're set. No matter if you're going to the store, just super casual, laid back, running some errands, or if you're going to a wedding, or if you're going to some event where you're dressed up and got to be super professional, this has you covered no matter what, and I love that about this DNA. If you're building up a collection of 10, you should have some sort of Acqua di Gio in there, and I think Profumo/Parfum is the best option. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Some amazing fragrances that you can build up to have an amazing collection with less. You don't need a ton to smell good and be covered. You could go for 10 and you'll be set for life. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.